Hello, and welcome back to the story. Today we will be making a recap on a 2007 movie titled The Babysitters. The story begins with a young lady named Shirley narrating how her babysitting service turned into a call girl service for married guys. We are then sent back a few months before it all started. The students seem bored while listening to their teacher while Shirley is busy taking notes. In her room, we can see that Shirley seems to have a compulsive obsession with having things organized as she is looking for her book. She found her book in the basement where his father is working. Later, a man named Michael picks her up for the babysitting job and she seems to be attracted to him. At Michael's house, his wife Gail brings Shirley upstairs to meet the boy she will babysit, and they leave. The couple meet with their friend Jerry and his wife Tina. Jerry shares that he will be opening up new restaurants and thinks of getting Michael as VP if they go corporate. After dinner, Michael wants to look at the parked old trains nearby, but Gail gets mad and tells him they should go home already. Back at the house, Shirley obsessively cleans the kitchen and the kitchen floor. The couple later arrive and catch her cleaning. As Michael is driving Shirley home, they stop by a diner. Shirley tells Michael about her OCD of keeping things organized. She thinks that if one thing is out of place, everything would go into chaos like a chain reaction. Michael holds her hand and they both feel awkward. Shirley asks Michael how he met his wife, and he shares his story. Michael then asks Shirley if she has a boyfriend and she answers no. The guys her age are too immature. Michael later brings Shirley to the parked trains he saw earlier. They run as they see the security and hide in one of the trains. They kiss and make love. They arrive at Shirley's house and Michael tells her that they cannot do what they did again because he has kids. He pays her and thanks her for watching the kids. Shirley takes the money and leaves. Shirley washes her hands shaking and looks blankly at the window. Michael on the other hand could not sleep. In a diner, Shirley and her friends are chatting. Michael is also in the same place at that time with his sons. He later sees Shirley and they smile. Gail interrupts the ladies and asks Shirley if she could babysit again, and she looks at Michael. We then see Michael humping her in the car. After that, Shirley seems to be happy, and Michael then hands her money. Shirley arranges the money Michael has given her and writes the word trouble in it, then hides it back under the bed. At the laboratory, her best friend Melissa notices Shirley seems to be blank, so she asks her. She said she just slept late because of babysitting. Melissa asks her how much she made, and she answered $200. Melissa is shocked, and when she jokingly asks if she took pleasure with Mr. Michael, she did not say anything and just looked at Melissa. After class, Melissa confronts Shirley for not telling her. Shirley denies and says nothing happened, but when Melissa catches her lie, Shirley just smiles. Another night, Michael and Shirley do it again. Michael confesses to Jerry what he and his babysitter did, and Jerry wants to try it too. Michael then later calls Shirley and asks if she knows someone who could babysit for Jerry too and says that Jerry is willing to pay. Shirley answers that she knows someone, and it is her best friend. At their house, Jerry's daughter is playing with the babysitter, Melissa. Jerry then tells his wife that he will take the babysitter home. In the car, Melissa takes off her seatbelt and pleasures Jerry. They arrive at the diner where Shirley is waiting. Melissa tells her what happened. Shirley then asks if she could have a share of the money since she is the one who set it up, and Melissa gives her 20%. One night, Shirley and Melissa attend a party at Brenda's house. Brenda introduces her stepbrother Scott and his friend. Scott seems to like Shirley. Later, Shirley seems upset, and Melissa asks her why. Shirley says that she got calls from Jerry's friends and she worries that Jerry cannot keep their secret and they might get into jail. Melissa reminds her that they are minors so they can't be jailed. Shirley then says that two friends of Jerry want babysitters on Thursday, but Melissa is already scheduled with Jerry that day. So, Shirley decides to take one of them, leaving only one guy. Melissa suggests Brenda. When Shirley gets home, she hears someone knocking at the window. It is Michael, and they kiss, and suddenly, her father comes knocking. Luckily, Michael is able to hide just in time. Shirley's father sits for a while to talk to her about Scott, who he thinks is a nice guy. Michael is just hiding under the bed. When her father leaves, Michael gets out of the bed holding the stack of money which Shirley wrote the word trouble. Brenda seems to have agreed to babysit Jerry's friend as we see her in the car with an older guy. They stopped in the middle of the woods. But it appears that Brenda has no idea about the extra service after babysitting. She stops the guy's advancement. The guy stops and gets so worried, and he cries. The guy then looks at Brenda and tells her how beautiful and perfect she is. Brenda smiles and the guy tells her they don't have to do anything. But the two end up humping. Meanwhile, as Shirley is making out with the other guy, Michael calls her. She tells him she is busy babysitting for the moment and Michael gets mad. When Brenda arrives home, she asks Shirley how long they've been doing it, and she answers about a month already. Shirley thought that Brenda does not want to do it anymore, but then Brenda asks who else needs a babysitter. Their business seems to be doing good as Shirley opens her laptop with the schedule of their babysitting. They also make calling cards with the title, The Babysitters. Meanwhile, Michael is having dinner at his house with his boss, and he seems to be feeling down. He later finds out that his boss has the same babysitter, Shirley. His boss then shows him the calling card. After making love in his car, Michael tells Shirley that he saw the calling card. He tells her to stop it and they get into an argument. Shirley tells Michael that he was the first one to pay her in the first place, so he has no right to stop what she is doing. She then tells him that the price has gone up to $300 and he hands out the money. Brenda recruits her younger stepsister Nadine, and when a customer arrives at their house, Brenda volunteers Nadine instead of herself. The next day, Brenda introduces Nadine to Shirley and Melissa. Shirley asks Nadine for the 20% share, but she refuses. Shirley explains to her that she is the one who arranges the appointments and makes sure everything goes smoothly. Nadine then hands her $60. When Shirley asks if she would do it again, Nadine answers yes. Nadine starts to make her own babysitting business to compete with Shirley's and starts to steal their customers. Shirley is upset as she looks at their calendar, which is empty. One day at school, Shirley notices Nadine and her friends having diamond rings, necklaces, and expensive phones. Shirley and Melissa confront Brenda about Nadine doing business on the side, but Brenda says she has no idea. Melissa thinks she is lying. That night, Shirley and Melissa sneak into the school to find evidence that Nadine is doing business at their back. Shirley asks Michael to be their lookout. Melissa breaks open Nadine's locker, but they find nothing. Melissa is so mad that she trashes out Nadine's things in the locker. She thinks that Brenda betrayed them and warns Nadine beforehand. Michael wants to leave already, but Shirley is afraid that they might get blamed for thrashing Nadine's locker. She throws a hammer to the glass board and breaks open the other lockers. Michael joins in breaking and vandalizing the school properties. The next day, Shirley confronts Nadine and her group. She reminds them of her roles. One is that no one should steal her clients. Second is that no one should walk around wearing expensive things that others might notice. Third is that everyone should give her a cut. And lastly, they cannot sleep with anyone, even their prom dates, without Shirley's permission. Melissa later tells Shirley that they will be going on a working vacation at Jerry's cabin. Michael tells his wife that they will be having a company retreat and will be back by Sunday. At Jerry's cabin, the men are having fun with Shirley's girls. Upstairs, Michael and Shirley smoke and kiss. Everyone got drunk and fell asleep. Jerry gives Michael some pills, then asks him if he ever tried the other girls aside from Shirley, and he answers no. Shirley rides on another man and Michael catches them on act. He leaves disappointed. Shirley follows him upstairs. Michael then gives him the pills Jerry had given him earlier. In the bathroom, Brenda is not feeling well. She seems to have taken too many pills. Jerry comes in and forces himself on her and she cries, so he stops. Next morning, everyone goes home. One day, while babysitting, Brenda breaks down and calls her stepbrother Scott to take her home. At school, Shirley approaches her, and Brenda starts to become hysterical. She says that she cannot do it anymore. Shirley tells her that there will be no problem if she stops. That night, Melissa tells Shirley that she should not let Brenda out because she might talk. Melissa is afraid everyone will know, especially now that she just got in the Ivy League. One night, Brenda's stepbrother is attacked by two men with masks. They threaten him to tell Brenda that if she says anything, they will harm her. Brenda and Nadine are worried when they see Scott's bloodied face. At the school, Shirley sees the bruise on Scott's face as he stares at her. Shirley confronts Melissa. Melissa tells her that she did it for her, so she can keep her business going. At his home, Michael tells his wife that he got demoted. Gail is so mad and tells him he should have done better. Michael is fed up and asks her how much more money does she needs, then Gail leaves. Nadine calls Shirley and tells her she cannot babysit because she will take a test. After hanging up the phone, Nadine tells Brenda that Shirley has it coming. That night, Shirley and Michael go back to the parked old trains, and she leaves her phone in the car. Michael says that he doesn't want money between them anymore and asks her to be with him. Shirley tells him it is too late. The security guard interrupts them and Shirley hides as Michael tells his alibi and leaves. Shirley is left alone with no phone. She calls Brenda through a payphone and Scott is the one to answer. When she asks for Nadine, Scott says she is babysitting, and Shirley is puzzled. Scott tells her not to call again and Shirley hangs up. Shirley calls Melissa and tells her that Nadine is taking business again behind their back. Jerry drives Shirley and Melissa to where Nadine is. Jerry attacks Nadine's customer in the car while Melissa and Shirley threaten to throw Nadine off the building. It turns out that Nadine's customer is Shirley's father. Nadine keeps on saying, "You had it coming." Shirley suddenly breaks down and cries. The movie ends with Shirley stopping by at Michael's neighborhood. She watches him with his family. Michael sees her and she smiles. She then leaves and drives off. Did you like our movie recap? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. To be updated for new movie recaps, hit the notification bell.